BDS presents the Hype Hour with your hosts Andrew Catapano and Kelly Campbell, featuring special guests Eric Lyon Decker and Elizabeth Jones. Today's topic is beginning to look a lot like innovation. Let's get started. Here are your hosts. Hello.
How are you, Miss Camp?
We're here again.
We are here again, and we have today's topic.
Yeah, very exciting.
It is very exciting. I am very excited to get into today. Q4 is almost here.
It is.
Things are looking a lot different this year. It's time to throw out the old retail playbook. Welcome in fourth quarter. Embrace it to meet today's customers. Don't know where to start? Today is your day, right, Kelly?
Yeah, I know. Q4 starts tomorrow. I can't believe it. We made it to this moment. Very exciting. It's been quite a year. I'm sure most people would agree. So we're really excited to dive into the holiday season. I know you are, Andrew. I am too. We're just so excited to be able to answer some big questions today.
Today, we are going to cover the hot pressing video first strategy topics. Tapatech, StoryStream, Banfluencer, Bright Shop. Got them all on the board here if I forget them, but I won't, because these are the video powered, digital first transformative strategies. And today we are going to talk about how we can real world concepts, real world ideas, key takeaways from some of our experts on the panel. But I am just excited to dive into it. But before I do, Kelly, I said we weren't going to get political on this show.
Oh, no.
I know, right? We're not supposed to do that. But the debates were last night, and I've made a decision. John, do you have the image? I have made a decision. I am writing in my own candidate. I believe John has an image of the candidate I am writing in. He needs a vote for him. So if you'd like to vote for him, his name is Mason. We are writing him in, and I'm writing him in.
Aww.
I wrote the yesterday. I might as well throw mine in, right?
He's adorable. You always have a surprise for us.
Go for him. All right, so let's dive right into it, Kelly.
Yeah.
We'd like to start our shows off with a little humor. Brought back the hats, right?
Yeah, we're back with the hats. We started with the hats, and we sort of got away from the hats for a while. Everybody started going back to the hair salon, so I guess it wasn't a big deal, right? But you know what? We're harking back to the very beginning with this. We've got our hats back on today.
Because we're bringing back how it all started. And I tell people all the time, if you didn't have a CTO before, COVID became your CTO overnight.
Right.
And he or she is an ambitious driver of digital first strategies. And he or she is telling you that you've got to embrace some of the concepts that we're going to talk about today. But today is all about how can we do it today? Can you give me some ideas that we can still execute in 2020? If we're a little late to the party, throw out some concepts to us. And even if you can't do it in Q4, which we're recommending that you try to focus on a couple of these things that you can still do. Hey, 2021 first quarter is right around the corner. We know that. But let's dive into some of the stuff. So, Kelly, who do we have?
Well, we kept our guests a surprise this time around, but we are so excited to have Eric Lyon Decker from BDS here today. He's the director of client services here, and he's been with BDS for quite some time, and he is the expert on anything having to do with retail here at BDS. He actually was a market development manager for BDS, and then left and went to a different company and then came back. So we call those boomerangs, which we love them. We have so many people who come back to BDS. It's awesome. And he's been back since 2013, and he's worked on all sorts of programs and amazing brands throughout his career at BDS. His favorite sport, fun fact, is hockey, and he's a diehard New York Rangers fan. I also love hockey too. We have a lot of hockey fans here. He's also a fellow New Yorker. So Andrew, he's with you. And then he's got a family. He's got 2 daughters, and he's been married to his wife for 15 years. So thought we'd throw in a few extra little tidbits about our guest today. And then we've got Elizabeth Jones from our experiential team. She is the SVP of experiential, and she oversees all different types of aspects of the business, new business, active productions, large scale corporate events, you name it, she's owning it. Very exciting to have her on board to talk a little bit about the experiential side of things and what they're seeing, and then how it all works together in today's environment. She loves logistics. I think that's the first time I've heard that, but she loves that, and she thrives in just playing a key role across the business, from ideation to project management, everything. She's quite the expert in the experiential world, and we are so excited to have her on today. And fun fact about her is she loves to ski and spend her winters on the slopes and her summers in Cape Cod. And it's with her husband and her dog. So we have dog lovers here. We're so excited to have both of them on today to join us for this amazing conversation, and can't wait to dive on in. Excited to have him.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Kelly, I just want to prepare our viewers for what today is. Today's a roundtable. Today's an open discussion. It's an open forum. Consider this a FaceTime meeting, a live stream meeting, Teams meeting, Google Hangouts, whatever you consider you're using for your Teams meetings. Yeah. This is it. Okay, so we want to welcome the questions. We want to provide real world scenarios and solutions. We're going to provide you some feedback of some clients that they're telling us on sales calls. We're going to give you some ideas that we've already been pitching to clients, some ideas that have been taken by clients, and some things that you can do real world today, right? That's the roundtable, and we're going to give each one of these 10 minutes to discuss. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, we're excited. This is the first time. We have a clock, and our goal is to beat the clock with our topics. So we're excited to be doing that today as well.
All right, let's set the stage, you and I, Kelly. Let's just have a kind of an open conversation here, and then we're going to bring in our guests, and we're going to start the clock. You know, why are we talking about this? You know, U.S. holiday sales 2020 are projected to be 1.5 trillion over October through December shopping season, right? We know that at least 10% growth from 25 to 35% of e-commerce sales, right? Yeah. There's also been, I know it's not on my cheat sheet here, there's also been this talk of whether Black Friday is dead or not. We don't know, right? We have some ideas. And whether Cyber Monday for the first time ever is just going to crush Black Friday, right? Because of the whole aspect and the whole landscape of where we are, right? So how do we continue to connect all of this digital traffic? How do we connect the lack of maybe what was before all of the traffic in retail? We just may not have it this year. You know, we know that by rule or by teaching our customer on how to behave through this COVID transition, right? Yeah. So we're looking at how we connect those customers to our brands. But I love when we're going to talking about, but how we make that authentic still, right? How do we still give that authenticity? How do we still give that retail, that human connection that can't be compromised? You know, we can't abandon that experience. How do we immerse our customer, and how do we immerse our brands into that? So, Kelly, tell us a little bit of what consumers are looking for from brands now.
Yeah, well, that's been one of the biggest questions that we've had a lot of interest around. What is going to be the biggest things? What are people looking for now? So really, it's authenticity, it's trust, it's personalized customer service, and it's being also vocal about social issues. That's really sort of become a priority for consumers going forward. 86% of consumers say that authenticity is a key factor in their decisions and which brands they want to go with and they like and support. And then on the flip side of things, trust is so huge in factoring into these decisions as well. 81% of consumers say that they need to be able to trust the brand that they buy from, which that means you have to put in a lot more work to be able to create that connection and make it trustworthy too. And then on top of that, 73% of consumers cite customer service and customer experience as an important factor in their buying journey. we all know that a bad customer experience, I'm sure you all have experienced it yourselves. When you have a bad experience, it really does factor into your decision. Well, I don't want to go, to that store. I don't want to, experience that brand again. So it really does factor into the decision. And then, of course, the social issues, that's been a huge thing this year, obviously. 64% of consumers would buy from a brand or boycott it solely because of its position on a social issue or political issue. That's definitely been at the forefront this year for sure. So very interesting things that we're seeing in regards to that one question that everybody has.
Well, Kelly, and I know you've started, and we're going to, as we introduce our guests, I think you've hit the nail on the head when you talk about authenticity, you talk about trust, and you talk about this seamless interaction, obviously, between customer and brand and retailer. And it's really what we thought before, really hard to replicate, right? Yeah. But we hired this CTO, and they told us, you have to. You don't have a choice. There is no choice. You must figure out how to replicate an authentic, trustworthy, integrated, seamless experience, in some cases, and even for a period of time, without the social component. Yeah. Without in-person component. Now, obviously, those have been rolled back. Now, obviously, we have we're able to go to the stores and the brands that we know and love, but it's different. Mm-hmm. It's different. And I want to tell people that even if, take this with you, okay? Even if we go back, COVID's gone, vaccine, everything is back, and we know that's no longer the situation. These tactics will outlive COVID. You can go to the bank with that, okay? We are training our customers how to behave right now. We are getting, in some cases, we've given them a little taste of the fantastic sauce that grandma's been cooking, and they want more of it. They want more of it. Well, after grandma's gone, they're gonna want more of this recipe, all right? Yeah. So even if you think this is a waiting game to get through COVID, it's not. A lot of these things are here to stay. A lot of these things need to be embraced in holiday, but past holiday, they are, in some cases, going to become the norm. Kelly, let's look at some of the biggest categories for holiday this year as compared to last year.
Yeah, one of the biggest questions as well is what are people going to buy this year? Obviously, it's been a very different kind of year. A lot of people at home, a lot of people trying to figure out their workspace in their own home environment. And then also having kids at home as well has really thrown into a different experience that we never could have imagined before. So some of the biggest things that we have are apparel. It's still big. It will always be big, especially for the holidays. But especially clothing for home, for this new sort of environment, a little bit relaxed work style, working half at home and even in the office. Apparel is still going to be huge. And then, of course, electronics and toys. How can we keep our kids entertained? I know, Andrew, you just bought something for your son that you even saw on TikTok, I think you were telling me.
That's right.
So, it's lots of different opportunities for electronics this holiday season, for kids' toys, and just entertainment in general. And then personal care items. Now that we're all at home, you got to take care of yourself, right? I know that many other people are also, worried about this. I call it the maskne or macne or acne, facial products, things like that. So personal care items are going to be really huge. And also just it's a nice way to step away from this home environment that we're now in. And then gift cards, that's easy. You don't have to shop for it as hard, but it's also an easy way to avoid handling a lot of cash. So it's a great touchless experience, especially those e-cards, things like that. So, that's the answer to one of the biggest questions we've also gotten is, what do you buy this holiday season? What are we going to see come out of this?
Yeah, I've heard apparel, electronics and toys, personal care, health and beauty industry is I could speak a whole hype hour on where I believe that's going. Yeah. And then, of course, gift cards. So let's jump into some of the ideas. I know we're a little bit ahead of time, Kelly, but
That's amazing.
It's amazing. And I want to make sure that if we need extra time to talk about really how people can start to use these brands, retailers, both direct consumer online and in store. We're going to give you all scenarios of how you can use these, and please feel free to ask any questions. I'm going to give you my best pitches of how I believe these can be used, and we're going to talk to the experts on how they've been using them in real world scenarios to work with their brands, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
let's
we're excited.
2:48 off the clock. Let's start another 10 minutes and let's bring them in.
All right. Well, welcome.
Hello.
Beth and Eric, it's so awesome to have you.
We're happy to be here.
Absolutely.
Hey guys, how's it going? Eric, good to see you as always. Beth, great to see you. I love the guy that you guys are wearing the hats. New to the hive and wearing the hats. Love it.
We got the memo.
All right. So I know you guys know what the topic is. I know we've rehearsed a little bit of this. You know I'm going to go off script. You know I'm going to give you some serious questions about how people can use this today. But I want to tell you guys, we're looking at two people right now who are real world scenario using these strategies for their brand, and I want to hear from them. So, Kelly, why don't you start us off? I believe we're going to go to Tapatech first, right?
Yeah. So we've gotten a lot of questions around Tapatech, one of the hive solutions, and we can't wait to talk to you both about how you've actually been able to bring this to life for some of your clients. And I know, Eric, you've been heavily involved in this and sort of taking the concept from start to finish and also bringing it to life for your clients. So tell us a little bit about Tapatech and sort of how it has translated for you. What has your experience been like? Is it complex? Is it, what can people expect with this process?
So it is not complex at all. I think all the complex work was before.
Let me start for a second. Why don't we tell them what Tapatech is real quick, just so we know. We'll tee this up. So Eric, if you wouldn't mind taking it, tell me what is Tapatech and why is it important, and then we're going to get into the follow-up.
Yeah.
Yep. So Tapatech takes our demo representatives that would typically be in store, and it takes them off-site. So if we see what happened with COVID and the retail stores closed, customers had no way to go in and to experience a demo in person. And a lot of people rely on that to make their purchasing decision. So Tapatech, we can either place a code on a website, which puts a little bubble. So as customers are on a website, they can click on the bubble and it'll connect them to the rep. Or while a customer's in store, they can scan a QR code and that instantly connects them with our demo or sales representative. And they are on brand with that client. And typically they'll have products right in front of them that they can demonstrate for them.
Now, so we have clarity. We're talking about a piece of code that can be put on a consumer's website quickly and easy. It's a piece of JavaScript code. Throw it on what we call the PDP page, which is the product display page, or the category page. It opens it as a widget or a badge on the website that a user can click, and without downloading any software or any other application, can immediately connect to a virtual service representative anywhere in the world in seconds via video chat with no other application. Is that
correct? Yeah. And Andrew, it even gets a little bit more granular for that. If a customer's on a specific product page or on a product SKU, the person, the representative that's receiving the call, they'll see exactly what the customer is looking at. So when they answer, they know exactly which product to have in front of them or to start talking about. When we look at in-store with the QR code functionality, when a customer scans a QR code, our rep will see where that customer is calling in from.
So all I've got to do, now let's get to the QR code. So I've got the digital application of it, install a piece of code on my direct-to-consumer website or a third-party retailer, whatever I might like to do. Within seconds, I now have a widget on my website that can connect to a virtual sales representative anywhere in the world, take multiple calls, do whatever they have to do, right? We're going to get to location in a second. But then I've got a QR code that I could just use our merchandising team, install at point of display, or anywhere in the aisle or even on the packaging, but I know there's a time to produce that. I can get that thing printed out, merchandise it to get it in retail, and then because the QR code is now native to both the iPhone and the Android device, all I have to do is open up my camera, scan that QR code, out pops a rep, and I'm talking to them, whether in store, on the go, or at home. Is that a fair statement?
100% right. The one thing I do want to call out, though, is that the customer's camera is not on unless they want it to be on. And they're prompted before they connect with the agent if they want to put the camera on or not, but it does let them know you will not be on camera.
Okay. And so I understand it too, Eric. The differentiation of it is there's no software to download, right? We're on a live stream right now. I'm talking to you. I see you video. People may go, that's not new. Zoom does that. Teams does that. Skype does that. What is different about this is no software. I am video chatting directly through my phone or directly through my computer, and all I had to do was visit a website. Done.
Yep.
That's so easy.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Kelly, I think we've got some questions. I think I can ask Eric about the deployment strategy he's got going on right now in New York, right?
Yeah, I know. Well, that was actually going to be sort of the next thing that I wanted to talk about was, bringing it to life. That was sort of the second part of this, right? It's what it is, but then for you, Eric, you've sort of taken this concept and then bring it to life for your clients that you're working with on a daily basis. How has that process been? And can you give us an idea of what to expect with that? If someone were to be interested, to try something like this for Q4, what does that process look like, at a really high level?
Yeah, it's not complicated at all. We just need to get involved with their web designer or whoever manages the website on the back end, and their marketing team, because there's some marketing stuff that they want to put up on their website, like the banners and the bubbles or whatnot.
Yeah.
But once it's set up, so we in New York in our MAG office and in one of our representatives' homes, we set up a full display. So when customers call in, it's going to look like they're actually in a retail environment, and they'll have all the demo product right in front of them.
Yeah.
So we've everything set up from lights to audio and video as well. So
Awesome.
again, seamless. Once the customer clicks on the button or scans the QR code, it gets them in touch with us. And it was a very quick process. It wasn't hard. And even for our reps learning how to use the software, it was 1, 2, 3. So simple. All they need to do is check that they're in and that they're available. And once the customer comes in, click on it. The other nice thing about it too. Hey,
right, Eric? You're doing this right now for DeLonghi in New York. Is that correct?
We are in the process of testing this week. We're all set up. Tomorrow, I'll be back in the city again. We're going to be testing this out, and we're going to test it through the weekend. We go live next Thursday.
Can you tell me about that campaign specifically? Like, what are they doing, and what does the program look like?
Yeah, sure. So we're focusing on a lot of DeLonghi's higher end espresso. They're fully automatic machines, which some customers, they may see these and they may get a little intimidated by them. They're big, they've got a lot of buttons, but they're very simple to use. So now if a customer is on DeLonghi.com in the United States, on one of these product pages, they'll see that they can talk to somebody live. When they connect with them, they go live in studio with that person, and our reps will be making espressos. They're going to be like in-home baristas right in front of them, making coffee and demoing out all different products. Now, here's the nice thing too, which we didn't talk about before, is our reps will be able to add product to cart. They'll be able to add accessories, and from there, the customer just needs to check out. It's seamless for them.
That's amazing.
Now, Beth, this is in the MAG office in New York, right?
Yes, we're very well caffeinated over there.
So to break this down, and then Eric and Beth, I need you to help me. DeLonghi took Tapatech, installed the widget on their direct-to-consumer website. On their direct-to-consumer website, they will or now have a widget that a user can click. Once they click that, they're immediately transported via their phone, if they're on the phone or desktop, to a virtual rep that is sitting in a makeshift DeLonghi cafe that we designed in New York offices in MAG, taking calls, answering questions about the machines live on click. Is that what's happening?
That's what's happening.
That's amazing. I can't believe we're actually here with this sort of technology. That's what's unbelievable to me. And I know we have 1 minute left on the clock. So we're going to switch to story streams really quickly because it does tie in with Tapatech a little bit. It's actually what we're doing right here today. We're doing a story stream. So it is live streaming it, but it's also taking a story and bringing it to life. through live streaming for your customers and really sort of creating the scene. So while Tapatech is really that final, closing the sale, Story Stream sort of sets it up with a bit of a story. So I would just love to dive in. We have 45 seconds left, I believe, but we're going to get there. So is there anything that you can talk about from that standpoint, Eric? I know you've been on that side of things too. Maybe one tip that you could give a brand today on implementing their own Story Stream program?
Yes. So this takes now where someone needs to click on a button to do that demonstration where they're going to a web page. This is just using their own social media pages. It doesn't matter which social media campaign it is or which site it is. And it's going live and doing demonstrations on there. So they're hitting a more broader audience, where Tapatech is one-on-one. It's our rep with that customer doing the live stream or the story stream that you're broadcasting to your entire audience. As people are scrolling through their wall, they'll see it and they'll want to interact with it.
Let's stay on this for a second. Programming note. I don't know why we did Story Streams and Tapatech together. That's on me. Story Stream should probably have its own 10 minutes, but we'll just give it 30 seconds. Eric made a good point there, but I need the audience, the people watch this to understand. The differentiation, I believe, Eric, if I'm hearing this correct, between Story Streams and Tapatech is the Tapatech is the one-to-one, I want to talk to a rep right now. Story Streams is canned video content that can either be live streamed like we are right now, but available for watching later to do basically demonstrations and educational pieces or immersion pieces. So for me, if I were DeLonghi, not that decision makers are on this live stream, if they are, I can tell you where to send the checks for Story Streams in a second at the end of the show. But Story Streams and Tapatech to me work together. If you have Tapatech, and let's say there's reps not available at the time, or let's say I'm not ready to do a one-on-one, but I still want to be immersed in the brand and understand more, Story Streams gives you that ability to just watch videos that were shot earlier at a later time to further be immersed in the brand. I believe they go together, but Eric and Beth, I'll defer to you guys. Does that make sense?
It does. So imagine focusing on just one product SKU and putting the URL for that product SKU in the comments section or when you're going live. And if a customer wants to interact with the live person, they just click on that and they've got their own digital person that's helping them out.
I love it.
Yep.
That's awesome.
I think
let's move on because we've got a jam-packed schedule and we've got 2 or so more solutions to talk about for the holidays. So let's talk next about Bright Shops and just the virtual ecosystem that we have going on here as part of the Hive. This pandemic obviously has changed the experiential landscape. Beth, you are no stranger to that. You have had to pivot like no other on the experiential side of things. And how has that evolved for you? Can you give us a little bit of a behind the scenes view of what that experience has been like, and how receptive have brands and consumers been to that pivot from, in person to virtual?
Of course. I mean, it goes without saying that virtual events are taking over the experiential space right now, and just the events and meeting industry as a whole. Everything from your live concerts to conferences and awards programs and training sessions, everything's being brought online. And, if you were to go back 6 months, all of these brands, all of these attendees, ourselves included, we needed to take a leap of faith in this virtual world. Now, people are getting comfortable with it. And so I see it just continuing to evolve. I see more virtual events. I see the risks, brands being more willing to take risks, more engagement, more customization, because now we're all a little bit familiar with it. And so we're really excited about that.
Awesome. So talk to us more about some of the things that you guys have implemented on the experiential side of things, utilizing virtual to connect with customers in a new sort of way. I mean, what kind of impact has this had? Like, what are some of those aha moments that you've had throughout this entire experience?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a wild ride. We've seen everything from, hosting HR summits online to global training sessions for Microsoft. We've launched products through Facebook. We've just simply had, networking events where we've had summer socials for clients where they just want to get their team together. They want to get off Zoom. They want to do something different. So it's run the gamut. And I think, the biggest things that impact that are, what platforms are we using? It's not a one size fits all. And how many attendees are we looking at? Are we looking at multiple time zones? So there's so many factors that go into it that, originally a lot of people weren't aware of. But the cool thing is that we're able to see the benefits of these virtual events more than the limitations at this point.
Yeah. I want to sort of throw that question. Oh, sorry, Andrew. Were you going to jump in on that?
I just want to say one thing for our viewership at home, because I know people don't like the horn, but I'm going to give it to you again. I give Beth the horn. I'll tell you why. Because what you guys are doing at MAG is nothing short of a miracle, a BDS experiential. You took an entire model that was predicated on social connection, on an in-person connection, and have absolutely pivoted to taking that digital. And if I'm hearing you correctly, Beth, and I know we've had a couple of moments on this, first of all, the fact that you are there and you're smiling is a testament to how strong you guys are, all right? First of all. Second of all, I asked you this question yesterday. If COVID wasn't here, we know that maybe you wouldn't be as ambitious about virtual as you are. Okay, that's a fair statement, all right? But now that you are, can it really replicate the in-person experience? Can people really say, sure, I'll hold a virtual event, it'll be the same? And if not, what can they expect? And what recommendations can you offer as they now have to embark on this? They have to.
Well, I mean, as Kelly said, as a lover of logistics, I can confidently say, no, virtual events will never be what on-the-ground events are. There's a magic that I just truly feel you can't replicate. But I think the difference in the world that we're living in right now is that virtual events aren't just an alternative to in real life events. They're the alternative. We have to go that route. We can't compare it to on the ground, but the benefit is that our bread and butter is on the ground. So, we constantly are just asking ourselves, what can we do to make this event a true event? Just like Eric is saying, how can I make the retail experience as close to the real retail experience as possible? So, it's all in the details now when it comes to the virtual events. But yes, to answer your question, frankly, it will never be the same, but we're going to get as close as we can.
What does it look like for holiday parties? You getting a lot of phone calls for people to do virtual holiday parties?
We are. It's a world I never thought I'd live in, but we've got, our in-house DJ ready to go. We've got, everyone's practicing the dance moves. They're picking out their avatar outfit. So we're excited.
So it really is an immersive event that you guys have created, an immersive online experience. I think I've heard, and I've not attended one yet because we're so busy on all of us driving our own initiatives. And I'm a little embarrassed to say that because the feedback I'm getting, it is amazing. Like you can create your own avatar. There's DJs there. They're talking to each other, and it's all in this virtual world that is immersive and sometimes more memorable. In some cases, if I'm not mistaken, right? I mean, it's a whole new world for people. And this is something you can pull off today. Like if someone called you tomorrow, first of all, I don't want to ramble, but tell me a little bit about that process, those events. Do I have that right? And second of all, how quick can someone pull this off? If they called you tomorrow to host a holiday party virtually, could you do it?
Well, I'm being paid to say that we can do it. No, I'm joking. We can absolutely do it. And I know this is the answer that no one wants to hear, but it truly depends on a lot of key factors. So yes, if we're talking a holiday party, we want to get a simple networking event together. We've got content readily available. Then yes, 2 to 4 weeks, no problem. If we're thinking about something that's more on a global level, we have multiple time zones. We are starting from scratch as it relates to the content. We're sending teams on the ground to get the footage, that we're looking at 6 to 8 weeks plus. So, it really does depend on what the brand is coming to us with and how much customization they want to include.
Cheddar, difference in cost, Beth. What am I paying for a virtual event as an experiential? And am I getting 2 for 1? Am I getting double the cost? What's happening?
The per attendee cost is going to decrease virtually. I mean, there's inherently expenses like food and beverage, venue, certain production costs, etc., that you're not going to face when you're doing it online. So that's something that I can't avoid. That's the case. But what I think is important is that, the impact is still, it's less investment. It could live longer than on the ground because you can make everything VOD and people can access the event even post the event. Yeah. So, it's interesting, and that's why I don't think it's going anywhere. I think we're headed in a direction where we're going to get back to live events. We're already seeing it, but I think it's going to be an interesting combination, a hybrid approach.
I'm going to let Kelly jump in. I never let her get a word in edgewise, and I told you I would Kelly, because I'm
jumping at the bit to ask my next question.
I want to ask one more, and then I promise, Kelly, you're on. There are two things you brought up, because sometimes experiential, and Jonathan is a dear friend of mine, the leader of your division in business, and I challenge him a lot because from a digital perspective, we're always challenged with return on investment, right? We're always challenged with what's the ROI and what can someone see as far as a return on their investment. You just raised the point here that you did not mention in our pre-shows, which I think you missed. You're telling me that a return on investment here is sometimes a lot more provable and can live longer past the event. I'd like you to tell me why specifically you made that statement.
I wouldn't say that the KPIs are more valuable. I would say that they happen more in real time. I think you can get more instant analytics by doing virtual events. Even just through the registration process, you can see what topics people are resonating towards. You can see the dwell time. Are people falling off after 30 minutes? Should we make our keynotes shorter? So I think that the real-time feedback of virtual is key, but you get that in real life too. It's just, I think, more of a post-event, process than it is in the moment.
That's awesome.
I promise, but I got to ask one more, Kelly, because you just said something I think is genius right there. Do you think, let's say, and I'm just spitballing here because I said this is going to be a working meeting. If I wasn't considering what you just said right there, it hit me so hard. If I wasn't considering if I was considering a big live event, let's say next year, if I were in the position of doing that, and you were to tell me, why don't you host a virtual event to test a lot of the stuff that you would do at your live event to make that live event even more impactful, because the cost to test that stuff at a virtual event would be a lot less than testing it during your live event. Would that be a fair statement and something that you would recommend?
I think it's fair. I do.
Okay.
My answer to that would be, I would actually take it a step further. If you're going to do this, I would almost do a small in-person audience plus a larger virtual audience. That way, I think you're testing both IRL and online.
Fair enough.
There you go. A/B test in the digital world, right?
Exactly. Good questions. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's all really, really good stuff. I do want to make sure we touch on Bright Shops, though, because this is also sort of, an experience in itself, even though it's virtual. But some of those same things apply to creating a Bright Shop. So before we dive into this and before we go on to our next topic, if anybody doesn't know what a Bright Shop is, maybe Andrew, can you give us a little overview of what that Bright Shop is and what that experience is like, sort of taking this in real life thing and then, making it virtual?
So a Bright Shop in a nutshell is a direct consumer retail environment that is not open to the general public and is purposed only for digital sales. So what a Bright Shop really is a customized, and it can be small, it can be grand, it can be brand focused, it can be retailer focused, but it is a custom built solution designed and developed by the MAG team, Beth and her team. And then what we do is we erect it somewhere, we place it somewhere, whether it be in Irvine or Columbus or New York or some other location. It can also be done at a retailer or a brand location. And then we use that to live stream, to sell product, to do Tapatech. And Eric, you can tell us exactly how a Bright Shop is working up in New York for DeLonghi, and you can give us a real world solution about how they use the Bright Shop, but that's what it is.
Yeah, I was just about to throw it over to Eric. I think we would love to get your thoughts on what that experience has been like. You know, it's definitely something that's owned by the brand, and it's sort of your own environment, right? So can you tell us a little bit more about how that sort of works, or has worked for the clients that you're working with?
Yeah, so the one we have in New York is set up to look like you're in a kitchen, and it has the espresso machine set up on tables so customers can, as they interact with our demo rep, they can see what it could look like actually in a kitchen environment. And in addition, like what Andrew was saying before, it doesn't have to be Tapatech. This can be live streaming as well. So while they're working with customers, they can also be live streaming on websites, also generating traffic to their .com.
That's awesome. I mean, I could even imagine it, right? You've got trying to figure out how much space you have on your counter. You can actually see it being set up in a similar environment to what you have as a consumer. So that's pretty amazing to even just be able to do that, let alone then to broadcast different, types of scenarios and things like that through story streams, and then obviously have that one-on-one connection through Tapatech. So Bright Shops really brings it all together, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
now,
awesome.
Brett, you and your team designed the Bright Shops, right? So if a client were to come to us from an experiential standpoint, because you're so used to designing experiential pop-up shops and spaces and retail environments, you take a customer's vision and you actually build a Bright Shop environment rendering so they can see it, and then see how it would look and then have input. Is that a fair statement?
That is a fair statement, except I don't design them. So I will give a shout out to my art director.
They're amazing.
Go
ahead, Eric. Sorry.
Andrew, real quick. Yeah, so with our Bright Shop, this was designed actually by the client. They provided the backdrop and the tables that we're using. So if the client, they don't want to design it, then we can do that for them.
Absolutely outstanding. Now you have this Bright Shop. We put it somewhere. In this cases, we put it in the MAG offices in Manhattan. Then we can staff them with Tapatechs. We can do live streaming from there. We can do social media from there. We can do influencing from there. It then becomes our staged environment to sell digitally and virtually. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Correct.
I should hear people scratching out checks right now. I don't know why. I'm not trying to sell. If I was on the brand and retail side, I'm only fortunate enough to be on the marketing side, but I can't imagine people not getting involved in this. I don't want to sound like we're not pitching. That's not the point here today, but I am so excited about this stuff because I do believe it can be done today. These are leaps that can be taken today to have your best fourth quarter and best holiday. This is not stuff you have to consider a year sales cycle. This is stuff we could make a phone call today and have you virtually connecting to your audience and your customers tomorrow.
Hey, and Andrew, we're talking about this in a sales solution. We haven't even talked about the training solution on this.
Yeah.
So we can send QR codes out to our retailers. We can send them to stores that we typically can't touch with our field marketing team, and they can scan this QR code and then they can get zoomed right into our Bright Shop, and our person can see this person's calling in from this store and they want a training, and that we can now train that associate from anywhere in the world on whichever product they want to learn more about.
That can also work. I mean, Eric, you get a gold star for the day. I did not even think about that. But from a standpoint of, I'm always thinking about the QR code in store for the customer too. What if I've got ASRs, assistant sales reps, or reps in those stores, and they're just not as knowledgeable on a specific question that a customer has at that time? What's stopping them from scanning the QR code and going, hey, I got a question about the ink capacity or about the, whatever it might be, the amount of espresso beans that have to go in. I'm not a coffee drinker, but my wife loves coffee. I actually will be doing Tapatech to understand how I can make the perfect pour from DeLonghi. But they can use this device in order to connect to a rep as well and do field training. Brilliant.
Well, this is amazing. And I can't, again, believe that, the technology is here. I know we've sort of dabbled in a lot of this over the years, but with this year being the year of the pandemic, forcing everybody to think a little bit differently, it's also allowed us to really match the world and the world to match what we're doing here at BDS. So that's pretty awesome. I know we've talked a lot about some of these solutions. We have one more to get to, and the last one is all about Brandfluencer. So Andrew, you actually set it up perfectly when we were talking about Bright Shops. You can do all different types of activities from, sales to that one-on-one interaction through a Bright Shop, the Tapatech, but you can also do social. You can do content. You can do influencing from there too. You can repurpose. So Brandfluencer sort of dives down that path as a next step, and taking the people that you have in these spaces. And then also on the flip side, utilizing a lot of the people that we have here at BDS and have worked with us for so many years and are experts on different types of products and things. We have so many experts in our virtual building, I guess you could say, that this Brandfluencer is really this opportunity to tap into those different expertises through social, and get your products out there in a new and different and authentic sort of way. It's not your typical influencer model. I want to be very clear about that. But Andrew, I want to ask you some of these questions because you have been very involved in this. And I know, Beth, you guys work with influencers a lot. So you know that side of things from an event standpoint. And then Eric, on the flip side of things, you've got team members, who have their own passions on the side too. So you guys can also chime into these questions as well. But let's talk about this one, Andrew. I know you're involved in it. Can you sort of tell us a little bit how Brandfluencers came to be and where we're at now with it, and give us a little bit of a sneak peek?
Well, Kelly, this one is for the anchor because it's my favorite. It's absolutely hands down. You started this off with authenticity. You started this off with communication. You started off with immersion. You started this off with creating connection. Brandfluencer is about using people who love to use the product inside of their own lifestyle, inside of their own social media, talking to their audience about your product in their lifestyle. We all know, and I know we spend all kinds of time on social media, but we all know the most authentic purchase that we can make is watching someone use something in their lifestyle where you want that same emotion or activity to happen to you. So you equate the use of that product to whatever emotion they're having to trigger the same emotion with you. It's not rocket science. That is marketing 101. All right. So how do we're all focused on being promotional. We're all focused on being, and for all the people who are on this live stream right now, Beth knows this better than anybody. The way to really get someone to purchase something is to immerse them into the brand, is to connect with them in an authentic and surprising way that doesn't feel like you're selling to them. And the way we can do that is to take their social media, what they loved, their following, and then give them a brand they love to use in their lifestyle and have them promote it for you. We tap into Mag's unbelievable team in order to help with this influencer model. We tap into the BDS field team who loves to use these products. You pick the brand, you pick the category, you pick the demographics, you pick the goals. We find the experts, we do the rest. I mean, it's as simple as that. I love this strategy. And Beth, tell me a little bit about why your team is uniquely situated to do stuff like this. We're just taking the people who love social media, who love this, and we're just using them in a different way, right? I mean,
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with the authenticity of these individuals. And I think that's key. And, at the end of the day, we're all human and we're looking for this emotional hook. And, it doesn't have to be emotional in the traditional sense, but the relatability and just to be able to see someone use it in their own environment, be able to relate to it. I think that's key.
Yeah, I think, Andrew,
Go ahead,
I was
sorry.
going to jump in, Andrew. One of the things that you said earlier when we were talking about this is that it's not about talking about the product, right? It's more than that. It's showing the end use case of it, the lifestyle aspect of it. It's you can be passionate about something, and we have a lot of people who are passionate about a lot of different things. We have parents, we have jewelry makers, even we have bakers and fitness enthusiasts and things like that. But I think at the end of the day, the goal of this is to really bring to life that use case and make it real for the person, the friend, the family member that's looking at it as well.
I have currently right now 3 products in my house that my wife bought off of the TikTok. Okay? 3 products that she wasn't being sold to, but watched TikTok videos of people using the product and said, I gotta buy that. That's how it happened. If you don't believe that's how commerce is done, we've all done it. But I was talking to Patty Morehouse, who leads one of our other divisions in our sister company, and she said, you know what, Andrew, this is an unbelievable idea, because the biggest problem brands have is generating that content, curating that content. They all know they need it, but they don't know how to do it. So we're going to leverage Beth's Mag team. We're going to leverage the BDS team. We're going to leverage the thousands of reps we have that their primary job is to sell, is to immerse, is to provide experiences. And we're going to take those experiences, taking your brands, utilizing their social, and generate that content that we know is gold in selling products and services. That's it. I mean, for me, that model, all working together, we'll maybe get into it a later show of how they all get integrated, but that model of influencing people and selling to them just by relating to them emotionally, I'm telling you, you want a great fourth quarter, you give us a call. We'll show you how to make that work. I'm biased because I love that program, but hopefully
that's awesome. Well, with the few minutes that we have left, I have one final question for everybody. And I want you all to jump in because I think it's really awesome. We have all, over the years worked in different silos on different teams and sort of done our own things. And then this year, we all got thrown together in a situation. And I want to hear from everybody. What has that been like to collaborate and to work together, even though we're virtually doing it and we're not physically in person? We're doing it right here, which is amazing. And it's something that we've talked a lot about at BDS, and something that, we want to translate outside of these walls and virtual walls, I guess you could say. But how has that process been for everybody, working with different teams and sort of getting integrated to bring these to life? Eric, you tell us.
Yeah, so before COVID, we have a few different divisions and sister companies with BDS, but before, just trying to find out how do we add experiential marketing? How do we add the digital marketing aspect to it? And this happened, and everyone just came together and said, we have to solve for this problem. And we all came together, worked it out. We pivoted, right? And we made it work. So it's been an incredible journey. It's been awesome to meet some new people and to learn about what they do, and really realize, like, wow, we should have been offering this all along. And it's kind of opened your eyes up to what we can do. And like I was saying before, Andrew, with adding the training aspect to Tapatech, that's something we haven't even talked about yet. But just as we get immersed into it, going, you know what, this makes sense. We could also be doing this, and why aren't we doing this? So I think the future is very bright. I think we've been extremely innovative, and it's awesome. It's been a great experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Beth, what about you? Your insights on that?
I absolutely agree. I think that what really puts us in a unique position is that we're all in the same boat. We might wish we're moving in a different direction or on a different boat, but it's not just consumers going through this. It's not just our brands going through this. We're going through it too. So I think it puts us in a really unique position to influence consumer behavior because we're right there with them. And I think that it's only brought our teams closer, and we crave the engagement just like everybody else. So it's really been special. I mean, right now we've got West Coast, East Coast, Mid Coast, Midwest. So it's really something special.
That's awesome. And Andrew, hive, that it brings it all together, right? I think that's the most amazing thing about this suite of solutions here is that it really does utilize all the best things about what BDS has to offer. And I'm sure you would agree with that, right?
Well, I will tell you, it has been an amazing journey as a leader of digital innovation for over the last decade. I can only say, I told you so.
Always a surprise.
The doors that COVID has opened. I mean, we look for the silver of every lining, but and all the silver lining. But I haven't got that metaphor correct. But the ambitiousness that we can have for digital first strategies right now, the true integration that we can have with the sales team in order to offer these, the partnerships we've been having with MAG to watch doing some virtual and digital stuff with them, all of it coming together. But I will take a page out of Eric's book and tell you that everybody coming, and our mantra, and I don't want to share too much of the leadership stuff that we go through, but our president, Sean Ludick, has come up with the hashtag Stronger Together. It may seem a little bit, disingenuous to some people, but to us, gone through it and watching this team come together that maybe has never worked together this closely, I will 100% tell you we are stronger together. And it has been an amazing journey to watch everybody put personal, professional thoughts behind them and all come together to watch this digital transformation happen and see how we can integrate all these strategies together. It's been fun. I've loved it.
Well, thanks so much, Beth and Eric, for joining us today. We are so happy that you joined us for this amazing conversation. And thanks so much again.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Pleasure.
That's the show. I know we had a lot of questions and we ran out of time. We thought we would beat the clock on a couple of them, but we got a lot of great questions. And I know, Andrew, any parting thoughts there?
Kelly, it's been I cannot believe it's been 6 months? 6 months since we first put on these hats. Yeah. And I see you got the live stream studio set up there. We're live here in Columbus. We have the one set up in Irvine now. We've got the one set up in MAG. We have a Bright Shop going for DeLonghi in New York. It's been an amazing journey.
Other things coming down the pipeline.
It's been an absolute pleasure working with you, Kelly, this close over the last 6 months. You're an amazing person.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Andrew. And of course, if you do have questions and you didn't want to ask them today, but you still have questions and you do want to ask them, shoot us a note, email us, direct message us on social, easiest way ever, right? And we would love to hear from you. And follow us as well for more updates and things to come from BDS, along with all of these amazing innovations that we talked about today. So thanks, everybody. And we will see you guys soon.
See you soon.
Bye.